It is such a momentous opportunity to really reach deep inside and feel into what 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 we're really feeling called to offer of ourselves, that seed that we were born with, our soul. And so this is just so exciting. And so that's why I'm being very slow with the words, because it's just such a beautiful, beautiful moment. And I am so grateful to be here with you at this time on this earth, and that we've incarnated here together. And so thank you for your service and all of this. And so where to begin? So I'm going to talk about several different things today. One is about the significant symbols, these nodal points that are coming together, that have the energetics have morphed, and now they are expanding, right? So it's kind of like if we make a contraption where we lay all these points of intentionality so beautifully and with such care, and then when it's time, the life force that is moving into these new structures that we've designed, whether that is physically or even in intention, it will now be able to expand and enliven into these spaces. And so that's one thing that I'll be sharing about. Another is about the flowers, the animals, and food, the Garden of Eden. But now everything is kind of in that, in this intersection point to be brought forth. And so I'm sharing it with you with such reverence, really, truly, because I would love to know if this sparks anything for you, in your heart, in your being, because there is such a deep call for this foundational, I was going to say financial. There's some aspect of energetics and energy exchange shift as well. But these foundational points that we need in order to strengthen and build these lighted geometries in, so that they can continue to be supported more and more. And so I'm very excited about this. And so to start off, let's see. So I'll start just because there's so much information. So let me feel in for a moment how to begin here. And and as I'm tuning into this, I'm just going to to ask for this space to be alighted with the care of God, that everything that will be brought forth into this space between us, between all of us, across time and space, across dimensions, as well, that we come into this greater intimacy and compassion, softness, love, joy. Yeah, all of these really beautiful, immensely necessary energies and supports. So, yeah, how in my whole life, I've always known that a temple needs to be built, that it is something that is, well, that's what I'm called to, is to create this temple, and it is for community. And this is the pure state, right? So this is our divine essence to be able to be nurtured, and the energies to be cultivated, to be able to be in this full nourishment and reciprocity amongst each other, and also the earth and everything that God gifts for all of us, not just humans, but all of us, all of His creation. And so, yeah, so this is something that has come in since I've been quite young, when I was a little child. And yeah, and there was this nature club that I created. I was about 8 years old, and I created a newspaper, environmental newspaper for the neighborhood children. And I built a pilgrim. That's interesting that came out. A playground for the spirit, I guess. And yeah, kind of this makeshift playground, and yeah, and connecting in with the elements and nature, go on nature walks. So there was this nature club, so we would commune with the trees and the flowers and the creatures, and yeah, and teaching how to yeah, just to be kind. And of course, the butterflies, they can find food on their own, but yeah, but it was a really beautiful experience to be able to mix some honey and make some nectar, and feed the butterflies on our hands. And that was just a really magical thing. And I came across something the other day, and maybe I can share this, maybe last week, and I had totally forgot about this, but there was this program that was for kids, to teach kids about energy, and it was one of the energy companies, one of the utility companies. And yeah, and so there were two kids that were chosen, and I was one of them in the class, and I forget if it was for the whole grade or the class, but either way, so there's this pin that I had stumbled upon, and I don't know if you can see it, but it is Kids Teaching Kids from 1995, and yeah, it really made me smile when I came across that last week, because I felt it kind of ties a lot of this together, all the different things that I've been receiving, and yeah, so grateful for that. Yeah, but with this Garden of Eden, so one of the aspects of this temple is that there will be food in its pristine state. So just for a little background, for those of you who may not know me, well, I shared a little bit just now about being really connected and close with the earth as a young child. And I really had this deep passion for earth, everything related to the earth and the stars. And so astronomy, geology, and so and to be able to feel it also in the body, not just learning about it in a classroom, but being able to experience the energies, the electromagnetics of the earth, her body. And so and so there was that, and then ultimately when it came to deciding on what I would study, going to university, going to college, I felt called to either go for environmental or art or music, art and design, I should say. And so, all of that, all of those were part of my life, but I felt, okay, if I'm going to study something in a book, from a book, it just seemed logical that I would go to study environmental, because there's so much of the regulatory process that you kind of need to have that bookish type experience, I guess. And I felt that art, design, music perhaps would be a bit more innate. So, but again, that was just my journey. I know upon reflection, and also in so many people who are in the design and art and music field, I mean, having learned and studied all of those things, of course, are very supportive for whatever that's wherever and whatever that has taken you towards in your life. I trust that was so super beautiful. So again, I'm just sharing about my mentality as a younger person at that time. And so so I felt called to declare myself as geology major, and that was because I completely fell in love with this class that I had that was astronomy geology, and it was the landforms, landscapes, and and it just brought such a welling into my heart that I felt, okay, this just enlivens me so much. Of course, this is something that I would love to devote myself to. But when I spoke with my advisor, I had asked him for some insight on what I may be able to do with this, the end result with my studies. And he shared that I would be able to study rocks, and which is beautiful to be able to do that. I really appreciate and honor the stones and the crystals, but I felt I wanted to be a little more broad-based because I love earth systems. I love to learn how systems interact with each other, how they connect, and and all the processes that happen on the earth, as well as how we connect as well. And so I ended up going for environmental science and management, and and then I ended up receiving this scholarship from the USDA, which is the United States Department of Agriculture. And so, so I was selected for this scholarship. It was a full tuition scholarship, and it was based on my devotion and expressed interest in it. And so I felt really, really grateful for this scholarship because I actually didn't know about it. They found me. And so, that was a gift to be able to attend these classes with the support, but with my college experience, of course, with life experience, I found it really difficult to just be in a classroom learning about the earth because I was so used to being immersed in the fields and the forests and in the waters, and being barefoot on the earth and having my body on the land and with the wind on the face and the waters just nourishing every nook and cranny. And so, and I do realize this is a little bit of, just a little bit of my story, I guess, because I feel it's not so much that I feel, oh, you need to know so much about me, but it's bringing, I really would love to take you on just a little adventure into what this magic has been about, because it kind of ties together what has been coming through and what I'm really being called to right in this very moment, which is connected to this this bringing forth of the Garden of Eden. And so, but just to continue, but I just wanted to, to preface and, and let you know why remind and share why I'm going into this a bit in a little more depth. And so, ended up being I found it really challenging to be learning things in this, fluorescent lighted room, and it works for some people. It didn't work so well for me. I did extremely well in lab. So when I was in the field and doing the things, it was amazing. But I felt myself kind of fading a little bit when I would be in these classrooms. Recently, I've had this call, especially last year. So it was a literal call, actually, being called forth. So these people, this woman that I know had asked about, offered an opportunity to be able to teach a workshop, a foraging and sustainability workshop. And and to be honest, I felt a little nervous because I hadn't really done it. In a group setting just for myself, and and I have different projects going on and already, and I wasn't quite sure if I was really ready to do that. And so, I just kind of received that honor and invitation, and and wanted to see if it would flower into anything in my heart. And so I've let it sit, and about creation, new creation, and this not just in this human life, but there was this immense energy and information that I had received from God about this new creation for the creation itself, so on a cosmic level. And this came in a few years ago. There was a lot coming in. And so one of this was about the new song, and about the end of duality, and also about the sanctity, this remembrance of sanctity of everything that has been brought forth in the original creation, in the blueprint of life, of our architecture. And so the first light, the primordial energy, the stones, the reverence of the stones, and the guardianship that they have with the light. What I have been called forth after receiving this information a few years ago. So I personally feel called forth to bring to awareness and to light the lamp about new creation that expanded exponentially last year. There have been a lot of trinities that have been happening, and so in the way of creation, the way that God had created these trinities, is this this ability of the codes to be able um, to pop up into its full expression. And I feel that's the best way that I can describe it without it being too 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 confusing, because there's so many subtle energetics within that. But yeah, so there's been presencing of threes. And so in the physical realm that have been presenting. And so there was even, I was greeted by an eagle. The bald eagles have been coming in real life. And yeah, and there was even a point where one of them had flown so close to me, and then came down about 8 to 10 feet away, and then we locked eyes, and then it went back up and joined two others. And so there's a lot of mirroring that had been happening in terms of the synchronicities that I had been receiving. And I hope that what I'm able to share energetically with my voice, with my body, with my energy, that you'll be able to feel this seed that, that we are to attune with, because if you do feel a call to engage this in any type of way, again, this is a very organic energy. And so if there's any part of you, and I'm going to continue on with all the things, but I just want to say that if there's any moment here where you feel attuned, then please share with me what you're feeling about it, because this can evolve, so I'm sharing this as a primary indicator of what needs to be called forth. But there is all these different levels that is just so beautiful to flower out and grow these petals and strengthen strengthen what we're here to be called together to do. And so, of course, I'm sharing on here in a sense, honestly, maybe a little awkwardly, but there's just so much that even if you can't follow everything that I'm sharing, I hope that it can at least build some texture of energy and knowing of both what I'm here to bring forth, but also how you may be called to work with this also. Because this temple that I've been called to create has many different aspects to it. The architecture, the design, all of that. There's a lot that I already have designed. So yeah, but in terms of the refinement, there is certainly so much room for refinement, always this polishing. So and weaving in of the energetics into this foundational structure. And so, so to go back to the foraging, so the foraging took a back seat last year, but with all of this energy that had been building all year and receiving all these signs, the level of alignment that was happening was just wild, really wild. So this year I was invited again to do something with food, with foraging, and really at the core of foraging is the Garden of Eden, because this is, the wild plants have not been cultivated, right? So, so in 2019, so I'm just kind of going back and forth with the connections because, again, this is nonlinear time that we're moving into. So more and more we are going to be connecting into different parts of our lives, whether that's in this life or another lifetime. It's all coming together now in a really significant and really, really beautiful way. So in 2019, I had this really, really significant vision. And some of it had to do with what was going to come about in 2020. But what I had received was about the need for us to return back to the Garden of Eden. So return back to the Garden of Eden. This has to do, and it had to do with the food systems and how we're growing our food. So I had seen the greenhouses. There was a sign, and there was a lot of different things. Yes, there was also temples and chariots, and it was a really immense and important message. And with the food system in the Garden of Eden, this is, there is something about, of course, with organic foods and genetically modified foods as well. And over these last months, not only was I called forth again to initiate teaching a workshop and on this class or workshop series for foraging, but also for sustainability. But there was a lot coming in about the food system. So with the food system, this felt really bizarre to me because I had not known about it. And you may know about it, you may not know about it. But I'm going to share it with you because I feel it's really important on the off chance that you may not know, because it really blew me away. I had no idea about this, and it felt extremely strange. given I've shared a little bit about my background and about environmental and being really close with the earth. But it had to do with food labeling. And with food labeling, I hadn't known about the labeling for organic foods. So I learned about it because a good friend of mine had shared about their experience and how they navigate their choices with organic foods and how it is kind of not as transparent and known to people. And so it kind of caught me out in left field. I had no idea. And so I looked into it. And so when I looked into it, I learned that, so in the US, and this happens in other countries as well, because I have looked into that also. So when something is certified organic 100% in the US, that is called USDA certified organic. And so it has to have a label on there indicating that. If it doesn't, and it says just organic, or not just organic, but when it just says organic, say on the produce sign at the grocery store, then this means that it's mostly organic, but not 100%. So off the top of my head, I want to say this is 90 to 95%. And then if it says made with organic, then that is between 70% and 90%. And the percentage that is not organic in any of these organic tiers is approved chemicals or pesticides or whichever. And so this was really mind-blowing for me. And I'm sharing because, again, you may know this, but maybe this would be mind-blowing to you as well. Because, I almost felt as though there was this kind of this crossing of boundaries, because our bodies are sacred temples. And this was something that I feel could be so easily, there could be transparency on signs and in the education. It really just left me a bit speechless. And to be honest, I was pretty upset about it, because not just myself, but from my own life journey and my livelihood, but for everyone, for the community, for people I know, people I don't know, my family, my loved ones. And I had already been on such a be as mindful as possible as far as being environmentally friendly, in my everyday life. And I've spoken with different people who farm, friends of mine, and I know that it can be difficult for things to be 100% organic in the way that things are structured and set up in these moments. And I think that's another reason why I felt so called to really elaborate on this, and I'm not censoring myself in terms of how long I'm going to make this video, because I really didn't think that I was going to go this far in depth, but I really feel it's necessary. It's been really building up in my heart, and feeling like we need such a change in the system. But of course, before things can really start shifting in a way where we can really feel it in our everyday as a community on a bigger level, we can at least have these sharings and conversations to start with. So, so here it is. And, how beautiful will it be when we don't have to worry about chemicals and things in our food and things in our, when we go to the grocery store, don't we want things that are, we know that is like meant to be for our bodies? God put this food to nourish us and not have any aspects of it distort our bodies on any level, energetic, physical, and and I had an experience a couple months ago, I want to say, where well, I won't go into so much of it, but it's just so people are vulnerable, I mean, that's just what it comes down to. It breaks my heart to know that, whether it's like my nephews, my family, my neighbors, the kids that I see, my parents, because these are all true, like I've had concerns about my family and my friends, and it's like I felt almost as though, how much can I do? Because there's just such a prevalent, messed up system. There's just so much stuff going on with our food and with healthcare. And I do different things in my life, but I work in healthcare also. So this is like a primary thing for me. And I've seen so much messed up stuff that shouldn't be happening. And and I just don't know how any of this is allowed in our systems. And so I share this very vulnerably, as you can tell. I didn't know I would share in this way or about this. But yeah, it's like we have to do something, like there's no way we can just allow this to keep happening. So, so there's been a like very, very strong message that I've been receiving in support, that this is the time, and I'm being called to share this with you. If you've gotten this far along, bless you. I love you, and thank you. Thank you for being here with me as I'm sharing this, because I'm coming here because whether I know you or I don't know you at all, or I know you a little, doesn't matter. I still love you from the core of my being. I truly, truly do, because we are all connected. And yeah. But when it comes to food, when it comes to health, these things that are these like kind of these human rights that we have. Yeah, but we do what we can, little choices. It doesn't have to be everything all at once in our lives, but yeah, so yeah, whether that's environment, the food, whether it's with each other, I mean, try, I invite you to challenge yourself to, yeah, to evolve some aspect, to be a little kinder. And maybe you're super kind already, yeah. But yeah, I don't know. It can be fun. It can be fun and really beautiful, even if we're already kind. I mean, kindness can kind of morph into a more expanded love. And so, yeah. So to the food. And so let me see. Okay, a little over an hour. So with the food systems, yes. So there's a lot of this when we think about organic foods, for example. Hold on one second, just going to stretch my leg. Oh, I know a lot of times on these podcasts we don't get to see each other's legs, but there's a little bit of mine. So yeah, so with the with organic food and non-GMO, non-genetically modified fruits and vegetables and plants and things. Maybe one of the things to think about this, it could be helpful sometimes, is that when we are engineering foods, this is, ultimately, yes, I mean, God has created everything, but there's more when humans are engineering it, there's more pathways that are being made to go. It's kind of like to go direct, right? So when we go direct to God, we go direct to Spirit and Source and our Creator, we receive those messages the same way as we do with food. And there has been research on this as well, as far as the nutrients that we receive. And with organic foods, there is a lot more concentration of nutrients in those plants, for example. And so, yeah, so when we're engineering different plants and, yeah, it's not really in alignment with what our body is designed for. It's out of alignment, so that's why all those nutrients don't really permeate through. And yeah, so it's something to, maybe reflect on. And same with connection, and with, when we're praying, and everyone's practice may look different. So, whatever works for you, you can receive divine guidance through a flower. God speaks to us in all sorts of ways. And, sometimes if we are introducing this, this energetic component of control, and this is a very subtle layer, so I'm not sharing it as far as like a mental activity. This is somehow encoded in the subtle energetics of genetically modified plants, vegetables, fruits. And so, there's this level of control that humans have kind of imposed. So, so I'm sure you can imagine visually what that looks like, and maybe you might even feel that in your body as well. But there's, I'll just share now kind of what is happening in this here and now, rather than all this background. And so I'm going to be creating these new systems, recreating different offerings. And so, yes, so there's going to be workshops, classes, and also different offerings as far as it's just not going to be anything that is out there right now. And I don't feel like it needs to be anything opposed to what's out there right now, but what's being called forth is something that is coherent to the energetics that are presently being poured into our field of awareness, which is this incredibly beautiful golden diamond light that is allowing the higher dimensions to synchronize into our everyday, and we're part of that as well. So we're synchronizing like this, and so maybe this is better to speak of it in this type of way, because so what I'm seeing, and I shared about this in my previous video about the energetics, is that there is a lot of geometries that have been shifting. And so with that, when we are, when we speak of being able to honor all of these beings that has been brought forth by God, by Spirit, introducing this Garden of Eden back into our awareness, we need to hold space, proper energetic space for these beings. And also, as we do this, there's that reciprocity, because they are able to offer to us where our energy bodies are being uplifted. And so, so I've been seeing specific geometries, light geometries, and also this portal that is bringing us into this very specific place within the galaxy, within our galaxy. How should I explain? Okay, let me just tune into it for a second. Okay, so there's this portal that's been opened that connects us to this space in the galaxy that is restoring and fortifying our constitution. And there is direct connection with this. And yes, yeah. So those light threads that just came through, those are actually already into these places that are going to be alighting. So, yes, so I will share updates about this. Right now, there are already connections that have been made in terms of bringing forth this anchoring in, and many new technologies that are coming online, and not necessarily outside of ourselves, but these are technologies of our bodies. And so so what I saw was kind of instantaneous healing. So it was incredible to see and feel, and being in the healthcare field myself, and learning that this will be coming was just so, it was just a breath of hope. I have to say, it really was a breath of hope. And call to really, really engage the connection with the earth. If we want to say as a guardian, perhaps in that type of way, because sometimes also it could be even as an educator, because sometimes people may not have an awareness yet of these subtle layers of existence. And so, being able to offer that possibility, before needing to, to do more, to be able to help protect the earth and the animals and the plants and things, and make sure they're in good care, I guess we can say. And so, so there's a lot that's been coming up also with the flowers over the last years, and as the moments progress, it becomes stronger and stronger, the energy. And so last year, with all this creational energy, it was really interesting, I felt, because the flowers that were most prominent in my field was hibiscus, marshmallow, and okra. And yeah, and they really shared a lot about this allowance in our bodies, and also uh, for each other, as far as this compassion that we can have to bring about harmony and peace. And so, yeah, and what I was feeling when I was, really becoming so, having this intimate connection with these flowers, with these plants, is that I felt that they were similar. The vibration was very similar between them. And it turns out, yes, they're all in the same family. The hibiscus, the marshmallow, and the okra. And if you're watching this and you know something different about it, please let me know. I would love to learn if maybe I'm not saying it accurately, but from what I gathered, it seemed like they were, in the same family. And they bring about this softness and this great feminine energy, this divine feminine. And I felt, what better way, couldn't have asked for better flowers to hold the space for this gestation that had happened last year. So much has been coming through about the flowers, and even from being in Egypt, some years ago, that the flowers were really important. Their blueprints and how they're interweaving their light geometries with the geometries that are coming in now. Their guidance and wisdom are extremely profound in this moment. And I was reminded of a song that I used to love as a kid, actually my whole life, but ever since I was quite little, is this old song called "Where Have All the Flowers Gone?" And you may know of it, but it's really about war, and about how the flowers, they've gone, and it goes from into one hand and then into others. So it starts off in the hands of young girls, and then the flowers from the young girls, it's and then the guys give them to the girls, but then the girls end up putting them on the graves of the soldiers. And so it's supposed to be a song of peace. The recognition that we don't need war. And experience that I've been having these last months, because a lot has been coming up about the end of World War II. And because there's this kind of coming into awareness about the spaces that we're in at this moment on this earth, and that there's, wars and things that are happening, and, things can be escalating. And it's kind of like, what type of ways can we bring forward to be able to introduce peace into the spaces? So whether this is spaces that are in our, kind of passing by at the grocery store, or on the street, amongst each other, whether that's, sharing this with a plant, because even when we're kind to the plants and the animals, we are giving them energy. We are gifting them energy to be able to gift that, to pay that forward. And there's a lot of distortion that has happened when it's come to war, and to war, and how we are able to make conscious decisions as to our breath, as to our prayerful touch with the waters, the primordial waters, and how we touch our own bodies. That is with the care and the recognition that we're here in this moment, in this space, but also our emotional bodies, because our emotional bodies impress our waters within our being, which we then release into the waters of, that are going to be shared with everyone, so that is a very prayerful way to be able to do this. And and a lot of sacred writings and knowings is about even like going out in the morning, and you can touch the dew, but another maybe, just an idea is to go outside at dawn and go to the earth barefoot and walk upon the dew, and maybe singing your song to them, for them. And it's a lot of different possibilities, and there's there are so many different ways that we can get creative with it, but but this is really, really beautiful. And so so I send this along. I'm going to post this. It is way, way longer than I ever anticipated, but I'm really grateful to be able to share this, and just kind of just see where to go from here, because everything is saying that this is time. And all right, so I send you so much love, and